Cool. So your name's Salpi, and you are with NLVO and...
So NLVO, so currently I'm the Executive Vice President and Board Chair of Flower One.
Okay.
NLVO is actually the brand and company I originally founded back in 2014 here in Nevada. I was one of the first who got licensed here with my cannabis cultivation and production facility here in North Las Vegas, hence the NLVO. That's kind of where it all started. It's kind of been NLV Organics. I like to say the vision and goal ultimately is to be one of the most quality-based, upstanding, and the best cannabis that I can learn how to grow and enjoy smoking. Like I always say, if I'm not gonna smoke it, I don't want to sell it. And I've always stood by that, right?
Yeah.
So really understanding what that meant is kind of what we're about. And being from Nevada, I mean, that's kind of been the thing. We wanted to be the brand that was more about being from Vegas and being about what it's about, being from the local base and growing, like kind of growing with the blood, sweat, and tears of what we're about from here from Nevada versus a lot of the other brands that come from other states as well. So we're more about having started here in Nevada.
Awesome. So Flower One, do you still operate under NLVO at all?
Right. So now NLVO is just the brand. The company got acquired. So the company is now, let's call it Flower One, which is a publicly traded company. So I guess technically it is I am a power of the people. We belong to the people. But NLVO is definitely one of our brands. It was actually it was #1 brand for a few months here in Nevada, actually.
Good job.
I know, we've been working really hard to make it there.
So do you operate NLVO as a separate branding company?
Yes, basically, yes. So Flower One is a house of brands. The vision of kind of what our company was about and what we were going to do as we developed this large-scale company. We're the largest cultivators here in Nevada. Our facility is 455,000 square feet. Right, absolutely. So being that's why I say so that's where we were like, so what does that mean? So we've built so many brands, but NLVO, I call that our legacy brand. So
you not all the brands are yours though. You have other brands that operate.
Correct.
With you.
All
you
the other
provide
brands.
For the other brands.
Correct. All the other brands are licensed.
All of them.
Exactly. Okay. We have all the top brands. I have from Cookies, 22 Red, Kiva, so the clear heavy hitters. I'm trying to name off all of them right now. But we've got a very nice, amazing list of some of the top brands in cannabis right now that work with us.
Fantastic.
That are our brand partners.
So he mentioned you do greenhouse and indoor.
So we have 2 facilities. So the facility that I originally started was an indoor facility. That's the company that started. That's where NLVO was born, at a indoor facility. So yes, so we have the 2 sites. So that's 25,000 square feet, cultivation and production. We have a commercial kitchen there, so we also do gummies out of there. But we do all our extractions out of the larger facility.
And you do all that, your extraction in-house?
All extractions are in-house. I always say I have all the processes under the moon and stars in our lab. We have a beautiful lab that we built out. Getting it to work right is another story, right? And we all know that. I always talk about dialing things in because we're still technically a startup company. So getting our bearings right and not just being a good company, but a stand-up, making everyone understand the quality behind it and what it takes to get there. It's a process, right? And I think that's kind of what we've been really trying to hone in on. But when you get big, it's I'm trying not to lose that touch, you know? And that's my biggest, as who I am right now in my role, How do I find, so the favorite word that I use with my entire team is balance. I'm always trying to explain to everybody, everything we do, even in the way I live life, is all about how to be in balance. And us, granted, we're the largest, that comes with pros and cons, but if I'm not going to maintain the #1 promise I made to my team, we're going to go after quality. And we really had to figure out what that meant, because when I first brought greenhouse to my team, my original indoor team, they're like, Salpi, we're doing what?
Quality, I thought.
Greenhouse. We were all the first ones, because that's like the first, when I have to do my tours at the greenhouse, that's the first thing I've got to, like the stigma, let's say, I got to break through with people. Because it's the first, we all had the same thought.
I've heard people call it light assist because it sounds much nicer. Because
or light depth.
That's Because you can,
Sure.
I mean, if your climate in your greenhouse is the same as your indoor, but you just also have the addition of the sun.
100%.
We can start putting it into our head that you may be able to grow better weed in a greenhouse than you can indoors.
Wow, thank you.
Right.
That's the words I used.
Yeah.
Took the words out of my
I mean,
mouth.
imagine just take your indoor and put some skylights on it. It's going to be better, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
That's exactly the key. And
The
figuring
stigma.
out how to do that, though, and make the facility do that,
Right.
that's the dialing in part, I think. And
Sure.
us figuring out how to make it all twist and turn in a 400,000 square foot space
Yeah.
is really where the
That's all-
magic, I guess,
that's
happens,
big.
right? That's
Yeah.
what we're figuring out. But proud to say it's been 2+ years with just the greenhouse side of it. I've had the indoor facility. I started, like I said, in 2014.
Yeah,
I've been
that's
here
awesome.
in Nevada working.
Were you growing weed before you?
No, that's a story. I'm actually a licensed therapist.
Okay.
I have my own nonprofits back home. I'm from LA.
Okay.
I have group homes for kids. We actually, my better half and I started the brand. I can't take full credit.
Sure.
He's amazing. But him and I came to Nevada originally because we were going to start a business to bring more group homes.
Okay.
Use my license.
Yeah.
Initially, cannabis was under Department of Public and Behavioral Health. Well, that's where psychology licenses sit. So we were looking up how to license my group homes. And cannabis popped
By
up.
the way.
And he legit called me and he said, I found our next business. I said, what? He said, cannabis. I said, are you freaking crazy?
We're gonna grow
This
weed.
is like 2013, 14, when it just started.
Awesome, yeah.
Medical applications were about to go in. And I'm like, dude, like, he's like, no. This is like the legit kind. Application, paperwork. You've been doing this because I worked in regulatory and healthcare for
Yeah, it's the same
20
place.
plus years, right?
Yeah.
This is it. And then I'm like, with our funds, I have my one family member that's my uncle that supported me through this financially. I've been blessed. We literally, when I say did this with our blood, sweat, and tears, him and I learned, we read, we studied, we ran the facility the first 6 months, him and I, 24/7
Great.
with one employee.
Yeah.
And we learned it all. So I've literally learned how to grow cannabis myself in my own facility myself. So
Yeah.
am I the expert? Absolutely not. Can I definitely sit up there on that table with everybody and keep up? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm
Know
now I'm
when-
trying to figure out how to be the expert. You know
There
what I
you
mean?
go.
But by no means I think that's the one thing I've learned. The experts, there's far and few out there that you
Yeah, and
can
anybody
truly
that tells
say
you
that.
they're an expert, immediately suspect of those guys.
Exactly.
I'm looking for the guys that are telling me what they don't know.
Right? Because it's so amazing how
Yeah.
much more we can figure out. And I get so excited about how much, I always say that when I get this close, that means I've got so much more to go and how much better I could do
Yeah.
at this. Because I was able to get here when I was over there.
Yeah.
Because man, our weed was stank
Yeah.
2 years ago. It was boo-boo.
Yeah.
I mean, it is granted. You have to learn. You have to live and learn. And
Sure.
and being a therapist, I think one of the big things of kind of with my team, I'm like built-in therapist for the team, right?
Yeah.
It's like our group team meetings are group therapy sometimes, right? But it helps keep us in this space. But you got to be about it. I want us to always be about it.
So did you go to school to be a therapist?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like that has played a pretty important role in you as like a business owner? You're like, are valuable?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, it
In
seems like
all
I've
the
been-
businesses I've started and ran, I talk about who I am as a leader, who I want to be, and how I want to run. Number one, most important thing, and I've been very blessed to have a very amazing CEO sitting next to me, Kellen, and him and I have the same core beliefs. Number one is the people and the
course.
culture of the business. Second is I have to be able to grow good cannabis, absolutely, but it starts with the team.
Yeah.
So that's been something him and I have seen eye to eye on from the beginning, and kind of weeding out the people that, when I said, that are not about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been my biggest lesson. And when I first kind of got into the NLVO being acquired, it was a different group of people I was dealing with. We've been through trials and tribulations to get to here. That's why I say when I have a lot of lessons that
Yeah.
I've learned, but rightfully so, I guess. There's a reason he put me through what he put me through.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and
I'm
that's
excited.
the lessons, hard lessons especially.
lessons.
That's the best way to learn.
Doesn't everyone have a story though in
Yeah.
cannabis? I know I'm not the only one.
Oh, man.
And that's why I get it. That's why when I meet amazing people that are truly about it, we all could sit here together
For sure.
and understand where that's really coming from.
Talk for hours. This is why our last conversation
Yeah.
went for an hour.
you wanna
What
just-
stores are you guys in? Like, where can people find your products?
I would say being here in Nevada and being we're pretty much in almost every dispensary.
You just go to the store, you find
So
us.
but NLVO, I think our top selling stores right now, a lot of it we're in Nuwu, we're in Hardin, we've got some in Planet 13. So I would say most of, especially around the strip,
Yeah.
we've been in a lot of the stores.
Any like notable products you guys are putting out right now that people should try?
The number one thing I would say that I would definitely say you get the most bang for your buck in terms of quality and price is my NLVO silver line.
Okay.
So my NLVO gold line comes from the indoor side. I mean, hands down, it's
top.
beautiful. But NLVO silver is our top strength coming out of the greenhouse
The light
facility.
assist.
So it's absolutely.
Yeah, it's got that
and I
sun-grown.
would say it gets you. It still is going to get you what you're looking for a better price.
Sure.
And that way you just get more of it.
Well, there's a strong argument that the UV exposure from the sun causes the plants to put off not only more, but a more unique terpene profile. Because a lot of those terpenes, part of the theory is that it's acting as sun protection.
Absolutely.
So there's a whole different game when you're talking about sun-grown weed.
I mean, I
I'm a
speak
fan.
about that. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to it. And I think maybe the difference in the flavor profile that we feel is not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's a true
Yeah, right.
byproduct
It's
of the
just
fact
different.
of
Yeah.
it's different.
Yep.
And that's exactly what
Yeah.
that is. So I totally agree, though.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, if you can grow equivalent weed for less money and then pass those savings on to the customer, where, you know.
And I think that's one of the big things. One of our taglines is "Let's grow cannabis together."
Mm-hmm.
We really want to figure out a way to get as much cannabis as we can out to the people,
Yeah.
because getting it at a more, I hate to say, affordable price. Because I always say, it's not cheap
No.
to walk into a dispensary
No.
and
And you don't wanna
buy
associate
cannabis.
cheap-
And
I don't want cheap weed.
it's not about
I want
exactly.
affordable weed,
I want
yeah. I want
affordable,
quality.
but I want quality.
Yeah, I
Thank
don't want
you.
cheap. Cheap implies that it's not, you know,
100%.
yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to stand out as figuring out, and that's where the greenhouse allows us to do that.
Sure.
And that's the beauty, I would say. That's what Flower One is about.
Cool.
And how do we do that with using all the different brands as our platform?
Yeah,
So,
I like
yeah.
that. So,
Thank you.
it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Pleasure.
We'll make sure we get a picture over by the
Yep,
media
let's
wall on
do
the
it.
way out, and
Awesome.
get you guys going.
Perfect.
Cool.
Sweet.
This was a pleasure.